Hello, Cancer, and welcome back. Um, so let's just start. So in the beginning of your reading, we were talking about that fox energy, and we were speaking of how that smoke is going to crack the door open. So it seems as though when you light the incense and you start unpacking whatever it is here that you're that's interesting. I was going to say reading any whatever it is that you're looking at, reading perhaps. It's like you're what's going to happen is this energy here, this fox energy. It's playing so it's playing in two ways. This fox energy before was kind of like it was presenting as being a little bit like sly, not showing all of the information that you needed in order to make a decision for yourself for what path to take. But in my own lexicon symbolism with my guides, the fox is actually it leads to the center. The fox leads to the center of the universe. And I could get into how exactly, basically, that there's a fox constellation that if you were to go through it, it leads you to the center of the universe. It's just in my own studies. So, what that means for me is that the fox is actually a universal guide like this one here that is leading you towards towards the center. With you, let's just pull this out a little bit, and we are all a miniature universe, right? Inside. So it's like it's leading to your center. Your galactic center. So what I'm noticing here is in the first card of your reading, first card we have the Ace of Cups. And then right above it was that fox. Do you see how it's like pulling you towards this Ace of Cups. This is the true, okay, you see here how we had all of these Seven of Cups that were essentially like distractions. They were not true, or there was something in them that was shrouded, basically. And so you're being led to this other cup here, to the true cup. This is the true option, the true path, the true way to your center. With the cup and talking of center, like heart has something to do with the heart. So that's where this fox energy is leading you. It's leading you to your heart's center. Your true heart's center. And with that, it's almost like breadcrumbs. It's like your higher self is leaving you these clues that are gonna, it's like they can't tell you the answer up front. There's something about not being able to tell you the answer up front, because it's like you have to find it. You have to find it for yourself. So there's like clues. One of the clues was, fire and incense, which would help to open the door. And then the next clue is that then you'll find your heart center. And once that opens up, once you find the heart center and that opens up, you then shift into this high priestess. So we're looking, it's like this is you and your higher self, both in two separate cards. I want to say like individualized. And then when this happens, when you find the true center of your heart, it's like you're both merging into this high priestess energy. It's like both your energy and your higher self's energy is like, do you see how it's like it's coming in together and you're now presenting as one card. And now what's fascinating to me is that before you, and I had said this earlier, like you might be reading or something, before it's like you got this thing, we'll just call it a book, right? You got the book from the well, right? The Akashic record. You've pulled it out, and you didn't know how to open it yet because it had some type of like, I don't know, lock mechanism. It doesn't really matter. You opened it up with what we were talking about before. And now what's happening is that book, because of the merger between you and your higher aspects, it's like that book can now be opened. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can. It's really faint. I want to not focus on my own face and just focus. There we go. So that book can be opened. Every page can be read. It can be reread. You can skip to the back. You see what I'm saying? Like every page of your book in the Akashic Library is accessible to you. Every single page. No hold bars. Like, it's yours. So you're reading everything, because what we were trying to find before in this energy was it's like coming up as like your life's purpose. You were trying to find your life's purpose, and you knew that, you know, whatever situation you're in currently at the moment is not fulfilling that desire for you. So you're overall seeking some type of change in order to put you into the space in which you are fulfilling that desire that's within you. And then of course, in order to get there, you are taking the route, or you're being, I'm not going to say that you're taking the route. It's almost like you're being pushed along this route by your higher self to read your own Akashic book. That would then give you kind of like clues as to where you should be headed, or what's going to bring you the ultimate true heart's desire and fulfillment. There's something here with this flower crown. There's something here with this flower crown, because it's, you know, it's being presented here, right? And here in your highest aspects. And then it's also here with the high priestess. But what I'm noticing is that it's not here. There's something about think it's that masking. It's like that. Okay, so one part of it, remember in the first half of the reading, we were talking about like a masking over your pineal gland. This crown here, that's the hood. That's what I was, it's like you put it on and then you put it off. It's the hood part. It's the hood aspect. There's a hooding. You see the hood, right? And then what it's here, it's like that hood, meaning like that flower crown. That's what's, it's like that hood is coming off. When that hood comes off, it's like your crown. Something about your crown could easily be like your crown chakra is it's like when you take the hood off, it's like your crown is exposed. It's kind of like an in-between state is what I'm getting here. Is that like before when, because there's a moment where you have to take the hood off, your crown is exposed, and then you put the flower crown on. What am I talking about? That's what this is talking. So what this is saying is that there's an intermediate, there's an intermediate step, which was what that opening is, where your crown is exposed. Okay, let's just set that down for now, because I have a feeling that it's going to come out. Okay, so we've got this book, right? Your Akashic book, your record. And what I'm seeing here is, well, you've read this book, you're going through it with like a fine-tooth comb, and the question that you're asking yourself now is, okay, yeah, this is my book. This is so, I love this. This is my book, but who wrote this book? Who exactly wrote this book? And I think that has something to do with discerning this. Like, is this book actually the true heart's desire? Or is whatever is contained in this book actually the true heart's desire? Because I don't know, you're saying, Cancer is saying, I don't know the author to this book. That's being displayed here in these, because it's like so it's coming up as the artist. You're asking, because this is not you. It's not you. You're asking who is the author to this book. And what I'm seeing here is there's this King of Wands that shows up. And although I can't see exactly what this is, I'm going to put that down. I can't see that right now. But what I do see is that it's like this is what's being exposed. The author to the book is showing their face to you. It's because you asked, the author is showing their face. And that's what this is here. Remember I was talking about that hood? See, it's like you were desiring change. It was brought to you. That's kind of looking like that pentacle there. You've unlocked it. And now what's happening is you're questioning who is the author of this. And what you're finding is that when that hood slips off, you're seeing the skull again. You're seeing the skull again, which is interesting because we had you before questioning to be or not to be. We're going to have to like actually look that up and see what the context is around that. And you're asking that question, and it's like it's coming back up again. So remember how you had it up here, and then you set it down on a search for what's truly meant for you, and then you go out on that search to find what's truly meant for you, right? And you come across the Wheel of Fortune energy, which is that change, and then it's like you're brought right back around to that skull again. So it's the question again. And then it's almost, it's like it's, and then you're in this state again. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like now you're, well, but now you're coming at this state, you have an opened pineal gland, right? So you can see all of this down here, and you know that's not, there's, but now with that hood, it's taking off the hood. Oh, hang on a second. I feel like I'm not articulating this properly. Is it you? Is that what this is talking about? Because I'm seeing it as, I'm seeing this as not, I'm seeing this as not you. The way it looks on the table is that when you start to ask who the author is of this book, you're like, you would expect that the author is you because it's your own Akashic record. So it's like you would be writing your own stories. But what you're finding out is that someone else is writing your story. That's what it looks like to me. But then there's also this kind of, because there's a similar energy that is you too in the creation of this book. Which I guess in a sense could just be talking about you being a character within this book. But being a character in the book doesn't necessarily make you the writer. So I am trying to figure out who this is, who this writer is. Who is this? It's presenting as well as the Wheel of Fortune energy, the King of Wands. And the Artist, which they have these like wings, so it's kind of like, a little bit of Hermes energy to it. But who is this? That is your question. Who is this? Who's the writer of all of this? Who's the one that keeps the records? And you are, you're like determined to unmask, to not unmask. It seems like they are already unmasked. I think the unmasking was understanding that you are not the writer, that you're a character in the story. That's the unmasking part. And I guess I want to, the unhooding, the dehooding, whatever that is. That's like finding out who the author is. So remember how I was talking about how there's kind of like an intermediate area where you dehood, and then your crown is exposed. There's something in that when the crown was exposed. I think that when the crown was exposed, that's when this, and I don't know, is it, that's when this influence came in. And because I'm questioning, like, did they write the whole book? Because you're coming up as, I mean, writers often write themselves into their own books as a character, because it's their own personal expression. So it's like you're the character, you're also the writer, but then it's like somebody or something, I don't know exactly what that is, added something. It's like there's something in that has been added. And I don't quite understand it. It's like when the crown was exposed, there was an influence that was added to your story. That this does it. Well, you're wanting to let it go. You're wanting it to be dropped because it's bringing you a lot of confusion. And confusion about what pathway to take, because that's because in your heart that it's not yours, it's not a part of your story. So you're trying to drop it, so that, didn't I say this in the first half of the reading, that you're like wanting to forge your own way, your own path forward. And well, if your book is being influenced by this energy, then the chances of you going along this path towards whatever this, I guess, King of Wands wants and desires is not actually what you're wanting or what you're desiring. So basically, what it's talking about is that there's an influence that is, well, it's like how the fox is playing two roles. It's like it's taking you a little bit off path, but because it's doing that, that's what's promoting you to ask all of these questions, to follow the clues in order to open your own book and discover this influence. And then it's like, then the second part of how that fox energy is playing out is that then it actually realigns you back to the center. So there, I want to say that although this is, let's call it what it is, like an illusion, it's beneficial because it's kind of acting as a course correction. And not only that, it's helping to open up your pineal gland and see like the truth for, and see what, like the truth of this energy, what it actually is. Just trying to see if there's anything else that wants to come out for you, Cancer. It's so interesting. It's like I'm it's well, because I'm questioning as whether they're embodied or not. It almost feels, this is so bizarre. It almost feels like this is like someone, okay, this is why I'm saying this. So remember in this Ace of Wands here, this was the initial, like, okay, the fire that's going to give you the spark to open that book, right? But what I'm noticing here is that there's an expanse here, and like this is where you are. This is where the spirit is, where your higher self is, and then they're delivering, right? So, in this one, this is like that. This is that Ace of Wands. This is the one on the outside that's influencing the book, and this is where you are. So they're also on the other side where your higher self is. And they're on that side where your higher self is. So they are not embodied. They are in, I wanted to say in spirit, but they're on the other side of the veil, is what it's talking about. Influencing. There's an energy on the other side of the veil that's influencing your Akashic record. Okay. And this is why your higher self sent in all of that fog to make you aware that these cups are not actually the cups. These options, these pathways, are not actually the pathways. It's like they're working, your higher self is like working to prevent this one's influence. There we go. Yeah, your higher self is working to prevent this one's influence. But once you're aware of it, it's like it can't influence you anymore because your third eye, your pineal gland has been awakened to the illusion that is being written in your Akashic record. Wow, that is fascinating. Okay, Cancer, thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy, and I will see you next time. Bye.